Shifting gears now to a big legal fight that is brewing in the Big Apple. A group of landlords are now suing New York City over Mayor Zohran Mamdani's rent freeze plan. It impacts 1- and 2-year leases for roughly 1 million rent-stabilized apartments. A really big impact. Well, the property owners call this freeze an unlawful abuse of power, and they are claiming the mayor puts tenant activists on the board to make the decision, and then they say it was done just to give Mamdani a political victory. For more on this now, we bring in Republican Congressman Mike Lawler from New York. Sir, thanks for joining us. Predictably, a lawsuit here, landlords pushing back. Your thoughts on whether or not they will succeed in the courts?
Well, they certainly have a valid case, and when you look at the challenges in New York City, you have tens of thousands of vacant units, in large measure because of New York's draconian rent control laws. These laws apply to units built before 1974. And the problem here is that they put these, freezes in place, yet they require the landlord to upgrade the apartment to code. They require the landlord, of course, to pay increased taxes, of course, to pay increased utility bills. New York State having one of the worst energy policies in the country. Utilities are up 58% over the last year. So their expenses keep going up, yet they're saying they can't raise rent. The bigger issue is that nationwide, we are 8 million units of housing underbuilt. That's why I was proud to lead the effort in the House, along with Chairman French Hill and Mike Flood, to get a bipartisan housing package that actually would increase supply, increase access to capital for builders, for home buyers, for tenants, and actually bring down cost. This is basic supply and demand, something Mamdani clearly doesn't understand. And what he's actually going to do is create more vacant units as a result of this rent freeze, because the landlords will take the tax write-off rather than put out the expenditures upwards of $50,000, and they won't be able to recoup it. So they'll end up taking the tax write-off, and that's why this lawsuit is actually very critical, because this is a clear violation of the Constitution when it comes to property rights, and I think it's something that has to be addressed. There's been cases before the Supreme Court. I think they've missed the opportunity to actually address this. You have tenants who choose not to pay their rent because there's no consequence. That's why I introduced legislation on squatting. This kind of craziness needs to stop. Bottom line is we need more supply.
Yeah, and we'll see if this all ends up before the Supreme Court yet again to see if we get to an ultimate conclusion on that. But I want to bring this to you as well. Mayor Mamdani is now saying that New York City lacks the legal authority to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but he's calling on the federal government to do it instead.
It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City.
Now, I don't know that he ever really believed that he ever had the power or would have the power, but he's speaking to someone, apparently he thinks a large group of people that would like to see this happen, would like to see someone arrest Benjamin Netanyahu when he steps foot on American shores. Who is he talking to? What is his goal? And is it concerning?
First of all, he's a pathetic disgrace. Frankly, what he's doing is stoking, political violence. He's stoking Jew hatred. And he completely contradicts himself. Remember, this is the same guy who called for Nicolas Maduro, the brutal dictator from Venezuela, to be released by the United States government, despite the fact that he was twice indicted by the Southern District of New York in violation of U.S. laws. Meanwhile, he's calling for the United States government to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, subject to the ICC, something we're not even party to. The hypocrisy, the contradictions, the fact that he supports dictators, despots, and totalitarian regimes, but wants to call out a democratically elected ally of ours is shameful. We saw the anti-Semitic stabbing on the Upper West Side just 2 days ago with an individual yelling Allahu Akbar as he stabbed two individuals. It's outrageous that he is the mayor of New York City, especially as we approach the 25th anniversary of 9/11. He pals around with people who say America deserved 9/11. He just reveals himself more and more each day, and New York needs to wake up and vote him out in 2029.
Yeah, he is unapologetic about who he is. He definitely has a platform and he's using it. Congressman Mike Lawler, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.